On tonight's No Things Considered, Trump sanctions Russia, Al Gore wants climate change to take Florida, and Morning Joe is acting a bit odd. And now here's your host, Tim Young.
Welcome to No Things Considered. My name is Tim Young, and there's a whole lot to get to today, including Joe Scarborough, who, he just looked like he was having a party this morning on his show. First things first, that whole Russia collusion story, you guys, did you hear about this? The Trump campaign might have colluded with the Russia story? Well, yeah, listen. We haven't heard about this story for a little bit in the mainstream media, and probably because, Donald Trump signed into law the Russian sanctions. So, guess that team up didn't work out too well. I don't know. Maybe we were supposed to be... It doesn't seem like somebody who would be working with Russia and Vladimir Putin. Doesn't seem like a Putin puppet, does it? Guess not. Huh. Crazy. In other news today, the Washington Post reporting Donald Trump keeps celebrating the stock market highs, which is a big flip-flop. What in the blue hell are they drinking over at the Washington Post? Like, I'll be very honest with you. Guys, number one, why did you just point to your feet like it was flip-flops? My producer wants everybody to know that she's wearing flip-flops today, number one. That makes no sense with the story. Number two, how is it a flip-flop? Donald Trump says everything's great all the time. He loves everything. Everything's better than it's ever been before. This is like, doesn't the Washington Post mock him for that on a regular basis? And today he's flip-flopping because he's celebrating how good the stock market's doing? If you follow along all of these stories in a row and you take a look at how this reporting has gone over the years, over the past year, we'll say, it's mind-blowing. Like that they just go up and down and back and forth and everything's crazy. Well, over at Axios, it continues, John Kelly closes the Oval Office door. My God. It's as if Donald Trump didn't know how to use the door, apparently. By the way, Axios, they sound like a paper company or something. Like, they sound like they make printers. Don't they sound like a company that makes printers, Axios? No? Whatever. Axios reporting that John Kelly closing the Oval Office door for the first time and that the president is deciding to take things seriously. Look at that. Let's make this full screen. Just so stupid. Even POTUS appears to be trying to impress his four-star handler. Wow, guys. I'm so glad that the media thinks that Donald Trump has grown up and wants to be a grown-up as president. Like he's not been accomplishing anything when he's been signing executive orders and scaring the shit out of them for the past 6 months. Suddenly now, they're like, oh, wow, this is such a fluff, stupid story. It's like if I were to, like, we shut the door to the studio today. Oh, my God. I guess I'm taking it serious for once. Nope, not at all. Speaking of people who want to be president and take everything seriously, Al Gore sat down with Anderson Cooper last night to talk about climate change, and in particular, how everybody gets everything wrong. So I guess that's okay, especially those weathermen at the news stations.
When people see maps like that, weathermen can't even tell what the weather is going to be later today. I mean, You trust your local weather. I mean, no offense to local weathermen, but oftentimes, you're told the weekend's going to be raining and it's a sunny weekend. Why should people believe projections of what Florida is going to look like so far in the future? And
of course, Al Gore says everything is gloom and doom. That's his brand. Everything's going to come to an end. The world's coming to an end because of climate change. Then we'll see in a second here what Anderson Cooper went on to try to equate weather forecasters to. Guys, Al Gore 10 years ago predicted basically the end of the world. There wouldn't be snow on snow-capped mountains. We'd be losing all of Antarctica or whatever the hell he was saying. Some craziness. Now we're going to lose Florida as well, apparently, according to his new predictions. It's just absolute insanity when you think about it. And this, watch as Anderson tries to equate the weatherman being bad to Al Gore being bad.
And just one example, I think in the first film, Inconvenient Truth, back in 2006, I think you said that within a decade there'll be no snows on Kilimanjaro. Kilimanjaro today, I think we got a photo, that's from 3 days ago, there's still snow on Kilimanjaro.
I think what the real issue here is that Al Gore wants the country to lose Florida so then he could actually win a presidential election. That's what it is. In his fantasy book, Climate Change, It'll End the World This Time. Super serial, you guys. Florida's going to go, and he'll be president of the United States of the world and outer space. Thanks, Al. He's so fat, by the way. He's so fat. Al Gore has just really let himself go. Such a fatty. Oh, awful. Guys, this morning on Morning Joe, first of all, let me tell you, this week is birthday week for me. It's very exciting for me. You should take a week for your birthday, not just a day. I'm an adult, I do that. But listen, It was almost as if Morning Joe knew that it was my birthday week, and so he got loaded up on whatever he could get loaded up on and went on TV. Because Joe, just watch.
And I'm connected with the kids on the street. They don't say that's not true, Willie. They go, hey, that's a lie.
You know what else the kids on the street say? They say, you're not sober this morning. You might be drunk. Boy, oh boy. Morning, Joe. God, this went on for we made the interns sit through a half hour of this program, and I got to tell you, their eyes were just bugged out, but they were laughing the entire time, and you're going to see why as Joe just goes down the road of, well, everybody's a liar, everybody's just talking about avocados. We'll get that in a bit too. It's just, get ready.
And the kids call that a steaming pile of poo.
You know, he's really in touch with the kids, that Joe Scarborough. Remember his album that he dropped? Monkey House? He's got a hit song called Monkey House, guys. Go check it out if you not want to listen to music and hate your life for a few minutes. It's on YouTube. Go. Spotify. It's on Spotify. You can buy the album as well. Painful. Nope. Just lying. Keep going.
What would we say to our children about this?
I would say, I'm gonna send you to your room and I'm gonna spank you. And
well, if you some
stop
parents don't believe spanking.
Yeah, I know. But like my dad didn't believe in spanking. If I talked back to him, pow. Yeah.
Well,
but
it's wrong to lie,
Mike, right?
And sometimes it's against the law.
Joe, how are we gonna do our kids about this? I'm gonna smack him. I'm gonna smack him. My dad used to go, wow, in the face. You ever been out with your friends at a bar completely drunk just talking about life? That's exactly what this looks like. They may not be on anything at all, but wow. They're talking about how they're going to raise their children. Can you imagine those two having kids together? I can. They look like Rachel Maddow doll. Give Rachel Maddow a hug. Trump's tax returns. Oh, I have to turn the face up. Yeah, there you go. That's Joe and Mika's child. Next.
If they keep lying. There is a culture in that White House where they all lie. Not all, they don't all lie. Let me correct myself. Just the people that are the spokespeople to the press lie.
And the president.
And it all starts at the top. The fish rots, from the head down.
First of all, it would be a lie for them not to admit that they're wearing each other's clothes. Again, look at these. Usually they flip-flop on who wears the sweater, but today they both went into the closet and were like, hey, Brooks Brothers shirt, here we go. Let's do it, guys. We're going to look like twinsies on air. Secondly, I like how they were like, not everybody lies in the White House, just everybody who talks to anybody lies in the White House. I mean, at least they're not pushing crazy fake stories like MSNBC. I think they lie. Next.
He said they were talking about, I don't know, like divorces or avocado farms or something just completely irrelevant to what they're actually talking about.
President.
You know, it's great. So that's kind of funny because they're just like spitballing and saying like, yeah, they might be talking about avocados or divorces or whatever instead of what they were actually talking about. Remember when somebody said that about a year ago to the day about a conversation that was had on a tarmac and a plane between the Attorney General and the husband and former president of a candidate for president? Remember when they sat down and just had a random conversation about grandkids and golfing for a half hour on a plane? No? Well, MSNBC took that as fact. So here they are mocking the Trump administration for apparently making up different things instead of the conversations that were actually happening. They seem to just say like, oh yeah, I'm sure the former president of the United States and the Attorney General just got together and talked about family stuff for a half hour because golf and grandkids are amazing stories. Oh man.
And on Monday night,
you don't. By the way, you don't have to say that again. Okay. We all know this is not normal.
Yeah.
But you can say it again if you want to.
It's just we all chilling, actually.
Yeah.
Sorry, no, they're right. This isn't normal. It's not normal for the press to be a part of a slow coup in America against the president of the United States. It's also not normal for TV hosts to get married to one another. It's also not normal to necessarily show up to work dressed alike. I watched all the episodes of The Office recently, and Jim and Pam never showed up dressed alike. And also, they were a lot more likable than these two.
This incredible thing we found out during Mika's unfortunate episode and the tweeting back and forth. He would tweet things that you could just prove her lying. Mika's bleeding all over her face. Oh, here's a picture from that night. Oh, she's looking lovely.
My beautiful baby. She can have all the plastic surgery she wants. And she wasn't bleeding for the face. She's so amazing, guys. Like, she just looked like better that night. She looked amazing that night when she showed up at Trump's place.
Then he said on the National Enquirer, he was like, Joe Scarborough called me and tried to get me to kill the National Enquirer story. And I'm sitting there reading it, and it's just like all of these lies. You're like, wait, why would you lie about something that was so easily disproven? Show me the White House records. I never called. It never happened. We're going to get to the Boy Scouts. That's another thing. Boy Scouts called the code said it was Gettysburg Address.
These guys sound like the most annoying couple you've ever met in your life. I couldn't imagine being at a dinner party with these. Could you imagine how painful that must be? And by the way, I have to apologize. After the last clip, I equated them to Jim and Pam and got yelled at because someone said that they aren't even in the same ballpark. That is correct. You are correct. I apologize for that. That being said, there's a reason I don't do an impersonation of Trump. It's the same reason Joe shouldn't, because it's really bad. It's incredibly bad. And by the way, and I don't believe that Joe would have called the White House to clear the record on the National Enquirer story. He probably would have called somebody in the Trump business or the administration that could leak it up to the top. He wouldn't go directly to the White House. So you can check all the records you want. I just have a feeling, man, if he's going to push this, Trump's going to release something that shows that he actually did make that call. That's usually how this works, right? You guys can comment on this, but usually a couple of weeks later, something comes out and Trump goes, oh, there it was. So either that or they're trying to egg him on. Maybe they're trying to egg him on because their ratings went back down after the last time he mocked him on Twitter, so they're trying to bring it back up so that they can get more viewers again in the morning, because we're back to beating them again. Think that's what's happening? Enough of that. Next clip.
The boys go, no, you're lying. You're lying. And you can prove it. You can easily prove it. Sarah Huckabee Sanders going, yeah, nobody just walks into the White House, the Oval Office. Yeah, they do. And Glenn Thrush says, I don't think anyone just wanders into the Oval Office, says Sarah. Huh.
That was a very bad imitation of Sarah. And so.
Oh, no, I was imitating Glenn Thrush.
Oh, Glenn.
Can we all do Willie Geist face for a second? Just like during that entire segment, he represents all of America. What is being said? What is being said? Of course people walk in and out of the Oval Office. They have to report to the president. There are things that go on there. Just a rant from Joe. This, by the way, went on forever. We watched it so you don't have to. And of course it keeps going.
Because I have witnessed people,
don't play victim and say,
I have witnessed people just wandering in. Yeah. Like, they lie about things that could be disproven. It's like Jack having a cookie in his hand and crumbs all over his face. And I go, Jack, you shouldn't have had a cookie before dinner. And if Jack goes, and like chocolate chips flying all over the place, that Jack would never do that, by the way.
There it is again. Really has no idea what's going on right now, nor does anyone in America. This is just a long rant about nothing. Like, I have no idea what Joe's talking about. His co-hosts have no idea what he's talking about. He's just on a rant because he's celebrating birthday week. Just getting a couple of drinks in before the show or whatever, you know. Just a party. Just a party at Morning Joe. Wake up in the morning and you know what it is? It's the rock star lifestyle. Joe is going through the rock star lifestyle. He's been on his tour where 8 people go to see his awful band every night. He's just partying it up, rolling into work like he doesn't care. Just next one.
Anybody with any character that knew what happened. Because there are people out there trying to cover their ass right now going, oh, well, you know what, we were trying to get the... No, listen, I know. My career is on the line. My reputation is on the line. And the President of the United States puts out something knowingly false. This was about adoption. When I knew he was lying.
Just look at the other people on the panel right now. The other people on the panel are losing their minds. They're like, hey, Joe, listen, man, I know you invited us to be here and all, but like, I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut while you get out whatever you need to get out right now. So, by the way, if you think Joe was a little off this morning, just make a comment below and let us know. why you think he might be off. That might be a thing. I love his face. Joe be crazy.
I think every one of us at this table, if you're smart, you immediately say, hey, if you put that out tomorrow, if that runs in the New York Times tomorrow, and you lie, and I'm here knowing you're going to lie, I've got to go to the New York Times. I've got to resign. I've got to go to the New York Times, and I've got to tell everybody that you're lying.
But you know why
that is what you do.
Whoa. Joe is losing his mind there. He's going through all the phases of drunk girl right now, which is love. He loves Mika. Sadness about not being in the White House. Anger, where he just yelled. And earlier he mentioned cookies because he was hungry. All 4 stages of drunk girl. I know this because I've been through them myself. I just want you one more time to take a look at the other guests on the show. This went on forever. So Willie Geist had this look. Like, just pretend I'm Willie Geist and then these guys are on the other side of the panel. That's what it looked like on Morning Joe this morning. Just 3 people who were sane with Joe and Mika in the middle. Mika's just going to go along with whatever he wants because she's in love with him. And they're wearing the same shirt. That would be really awkward if they went home and had to exchange shirts later or something. Whatever. It doesn't matter. But it was just absolute insanity on Morning Joe. As if it's not every morning, but this morning was just extra, just odd. And finally tonight, there's nothing more embarrassing than a major media publication dropping a story that a patriarch of their country dropped dead. Here we go. Look at that. Daily Telegraph reporting, hold. Prince Philip dies at age XX. Now, there's a lot of interns that may be out there in Washington, D.C. right now. And you may or may not be watching the show, but here's the deal. This is sitting in the back of a WordPress website waiting for him to die. And when it says hold, you don't hit publish. That's the thing. You at least have an age on there. At least fake an age of when it goes down. And there's nothing more juicy than another media screw-up in England to another media outlet. The Daily Mail, they're just catty with each other over there. Sort of like that time I pointed out that IJ Review's breaking news logo looked like a reverberating penis. Listen, they are just waiting for the other organization to screw up so that they can jump all over it. So those guys over there, hey, get together, grab a pint this weekend, and, laugh about your errors. My show's full of them, including the hiring. Anyway, I love you. Oh, we're taping. I really appreciate my staff here. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. It's No Things Considered. We're here every night of the week, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Daily Caller Facebook page. If you scroll down on this page, you see a lot of great breaking news and occasionally an interview with a UFC model. And also, for more breaking news, you can go to dailycaller.com and dailycallernewsfoundation.org. Click the like button, click that share button, click the heart button. Click yourself, because no one else will. Good night, everybody.